All right, I don't really know what I'm doing, but here's what I'm thinking. Let's install a wall charger together. Okay, the plan is to turn that into a junction box, run a conduit down and under, and underneath behind the siding up to where the wall charger is going to be, and replace this situation. Now there's not enough gap right here to get under, so we're gonna have to go through this hole and go up, but that'll be kind of blind, so we're gonna have to do it from the inside. And we're just inside this post, so let's go inside. There's our post outside the window. Line it up with in here, I think roughly right here. So our opening's on this side. Here we go. Here I'm checking for square, and it turns out this area I need to cut out is actually a little bit of a trapezoid. You'll see that later when I cut my piece of PVC, that it's just ever so slightly off. All right, I don't really know what I'm doing, but here's what I'm thinking. This diamond wheel is going to cut through this fiber cement board, and this stuff can be brittle. So I'm going to cut with the wheel spinning upwards, with the idea that if I'm cutting downwards, when I get to the end of this board, a piece of this may break away, which just, if it breaks this way, fine, because I'm getting rid of this. But if it chips out and breaks away this way, it's just going to look like hell. I'm going to have to replace the whole piece. So if I spin this way and cut upwards, the rest of the board provides support for what's being cut, and it can't really chip into itself. Plus it's nailed across the top. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to try and avoid chipping out at the bottom. Here you can see just how much it's off. It's maybe slightly more than 1/8 of an inch. Here I've got my workpiece upside down, and I'm just trimming off the bottom edge that faces the wall, just so it overlays the cement board and also stays flush with the outer trim. These strips are also going to be added to the back of the board that I'm mounting to the wall to make up the difference between the side trim and the board itself. The board is only 3/4 inches. The side trim is 1 full inch. So I'm adding a little backer strip just to make sure it stays flush with the edge trim. Where I drilled this hole, I also have 2 other marks that I marked using this template that's provided with the charger. And those indicate mounting holes and the hole where your power source comes through. So this one's going to get drilled out. It's about 1 inch. So I'm not going to cut that one now, but that gets cut out by the electrician on the back of that unit. And I am going to cut a 1 inch hole here just to be able to have an opening, and my power source will come through here. But I want to know also what's behind here. Do I need to brace this behind in any way? Because there may not be a stud where I want it to be. I kind of think there won't be a stud where I want it to be. So let's find out. There's something there. This stuff is pretty substantial. Whatever it is. Through. Battery's dead. Of course the battery's dead. Just there. Okay. Let's try it. Stuff is at least 3/4 thick, so I think we're going to be okay to mount to that. Now that I know, I need to put my strips that I cut on the back side of this so that this 3/4 inch piece stays out as far as this 1 inch piece, because I want this to be as flush as I can get it out here on the edge. See, this drops in right here. So, but it's flush down here. That's because of the last piece of the hardy board down there butts against the back side of this. So my strips have to be maybe 4/5 of this, and they're gonna run vertical.
This is just an opportunity to recommend a Leatherman to anybody who does any kind of handyman or DIY work. I swear I use this tool at least 5 times a day. Something on it comes in handy at really random times, and I'm so glad I carry it with me every day.
Ta-da! Ow. Yeah, there's nails in there. They'll get you. I gotta really learn how to do some knots. Not like Boy Scout level, but just some basic knots that can be used on a construction site would be ideal. Okay. There we go. Please don't break. Please don't break. Please don't break. Yeah. Kills. These little guys set your screw head to a certain specific depth within the PVC, and then once they've tapped their own hole, you leave behind a little tiny thing. You use these guys, close it up. Battery. Oh good, it works. Bing, bada, boom. Your two mounting points here and here are getting drilled out to here, and this system comes with this little guy, but with the depth and how much I've added here, I'm going to go a little bit bigger. Hopefully it doesn't void the warranty. There's your difference right there. On this side, where I've drilled this hole, this is supposed to be drilled out to, I think, 1 3/8 with a step drill, which is like this. The one I have only goes out to 1/2 inch. So I'm just gonna leave that alone and let the electrician do that. I have a paddle bit. I don't even think I have a paddle bit that'll go that big, but paddle bit will probably booger the hell out of this. So I'm not even gonna mess with it. I'm just gonna mount this in place, and yeah, and I'll let the electrician do the rest. Two. Also, the screws this came with a little washer doodad, so I'm going to transfer that over to the other screw. Right back here, baby. Do you want to go up there? Yeah, here you go. Good.
The electrician's going to take this back off to wire up this system, but really there's no reason for me to put this on here. I'm just doing this for fun because I want to see what it's going to look like when it's finished. And this is the trim alignment I was talking about. The flat piece I've added is only 3/4 of an inch, but the edge trim is 1 inch. So that's the reason for the backers and the longer screws everywhere. I'm just adding material that needs to reach something substantial to be able to hold this on. These are also supposed to go flush with the face of the material you put on after you set your screws. But I did a little finagling, moving my screws in and out just to make sure that this plastic would match up. So some of these little holes that you fill with these plugs are not as deep as they usually would be. Here's the work the electricians have done. I didn't film anything they did, but you get the idea. The outlet has become a junction box, and the whole thing hides in the wall. Turns to the right here, goes over to the other spot, and turns and goes straight up. My spackling and wall patching skills are terrible, but I'll just do a bunch of sanding. It's all good. I hope you enjoyed this first attempt at me filming some of my DIY projects around the house. The house is 125 years old, so plenty more to come. If you want to see some stuff, stick around. There's always something to do.